Radio Network, we have the unique opportunity to interview distinguished individuals who have made significant contributions to their respective industries and fields. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Helen Papadopoulos, who is a self-help consultant at New Age Power. Good morning, Helen. How are you today?
Hi. Very good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Why don't you start by telling us what you would like to promote most about yourself and or your business?
What I would like to promote most, it would be the fact that I use techniques that I develop myself, primarily through personal experience, and that these psychological self-help techniques are highly individualized, so people can use them to help themselves by answering questions that only they can answer. There aren't set answers or set ways of doing anything.
What would you consider the most rewarding aspect of your career?
Seeing people feel better about themselves and their lives, especially when they feel more empowered, that they can do things to help themselves, that they can actually work through their own issues and feel better afterwards.
How do you see people do that? Through the techniques you've developed?
Yes. And actually getting them to think more for themselves and to go turn back on themselves rather than just listening to what I say or what anyone else might say, primarily by asking them questions that make them think about what it is that they're going through, so that it comes back to them. It's more about self-empowerment.
What do you consider is the biggest misconception that people have about you or your profession?
Probably go back to what I just said, that they expect us as healers or counselors to fix everything for them. But we can't. We can be guides and supports for them. But we can't feel their feelings for them. We can't change their thoughts. So, there's a self-responsibility that comes with helping yourself quite often. A lot of people don't see that. They think they're paying you and you have to do it for them. So that's the biggest misconception.
Where would you like to see yourself or your company in 10 years or even in 20? I write self-help materials, and I think articles and books actually have people can get more access to them. So I'm more interested in publishing and developing like a publishing branch in my company. That will take a while because I have to learn about all that. But I would like more of an emphasis on that, as well as continuing to consult and teach people. Would the publishing be primarily self-help?
It would be primarily self-help, but I would probably branch more into spiritual and metaphysical topics as well. But they would always have a self-help bent to them, always.
As a self-help consultant, are there certain areas where you consider yourself an expert?
Grief and trauma are probably the biggest ones because that's what I've experienced myself. It's not just studying, but that's what I've been through myself. And I find that most people who come to me have the symptoms of depression and panic attacks, which are usually signs of grief and trauma. That's what I specialize in.
How do your personal experiences help your patients, or do you think they help your patients because you said that you've been through this kind of stuff?
I understand what they're going through. It's not all intellectual for me. It's not all theoretical. So I know what it feels like to be depressed. Mm-hmm. I know what it feels like to feel so panicked that you think you're having a heart attack. And I know primarily where these things come from and how to deal with them on my own. Because even though I did study these things and I did go to therapy myself, many of the things that I was told actually didn't work for me. So I had to kind of go back and see what did work for me and try things out for myself. So that kind of understanding and the personal experience and trying things for yourself and seeing if they work or they don't work, that's what allows me to help them more, rather than just saying, look, if you do this and this doesn't work for you, then there's something wrong with you. Whereas I will understand sometimes these things don't work. So you have to keep looking until you find something that does work.
Is that something that you would like your clients to know about you before they come to you? Is that you kind of base this on your personal experiences?
I think it's best that they know, and quite often when they call or email, I'm pretty explicit about the self-responsibility they need to take. Like, I can tell them what I know, but it may not apply to them. So that actually weeds a lot of people out. If people just want the answers or the quick fix, they won't come to me. So it's best they know that it's in the end that it's up to them. Yeah.
What is the most important lesson that you've learned throughout your career?
My career and my personal life are intertwined. So the most important things for me is or the one thing is integrity, and then from everything else that flows: health, happiness, being at peace, everything else. If I stay true to myself, I do what I like, what I believe in, without hurting anyone else or stepping on anyone else, then I'm happy.
Is there anything that you could think of that sets you apart from others in your field aside from blending intellect with your personal experiences?
I am practical without being goal-orientated. So quite often when people hear that I'm practical, they will assume that I'm a life coach. And life coaches are very goal-orientated. So, you've got to be by this point after this many weeks or months or whatever. And that's not the way that I work, because you can't heal that way. You can't set goals when it comes to healing. It's more about going with the flow, doing what you can in every moment that will help you cope with whatever you're going through. So practical doesn't necessarily mean, things are done within a certain time frame.
If our listeners would like to gain additional information about you and your services, what is the best way for them to contact you? The best way would be the website, newagepower.net, and all the contact details are there. The other thing is the email, which is helen@newagepower.net. But everything it's on the website. Helen, thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us. You're an inspiration to your field, and we appreciate you for taking the time to speak to our listeners.
Thank you.
I want to thank everyone for listening to Elite Radio Network. We look forward to providing you with additional engaging interviews with professionals around the country and abroad.